Hello viewers, welcome to the news on the hour. The major stories. Archbishop Benjamin Kwashi speaks on nation building, says justice is important. Bishop Chola Janasaju attacks Buhari's government, says things has gone worse under his watch, and urges church leaders to speak out without fear. Plus, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, warns Nigerians against voting people above 70 as president. Well, here are the stories in details. Amid the level of injustice bedeviling the country, the Anglican Bishop of Jos Diocese and GAFCON Secretary, His Grace the Most Reverend Benjamin Kwashi, has stated that justice is important in nation building. Speaking in an exclusive interview, the eloquent clergyman noted that any just system will give birth to justice, hence the need of justice in nation building as well as diocese building.
If you build a just system, you don't have to be a Christian or a Muslim. Any just system will give birth to justice. Any day. That's how God created human beings, even without religion. Look, let me tell you how God works. God will never bless iniquity. He has never blessed it and will not bless it. So when you practice wickedness, no matter how much you go to mosque and church, forget about God. But when you do things right, any right doing, any right thinking, any right practice will be blessed by God, whether you are an unbeliever, pagan, or Christian, Jew, or anybody. God bless, because God is right. He is righteous. So nation building is simple, very, very simple. The same thing with diocese building. I mean, I'm a bishop too. I fall in that judgment. How am I building my diocese? Am I looking after my clergy? Am I executing justice, or do I just punish people because I don't like their face? Or am I just training only those I like and not training anybody? Or am I giving justice to good or bad? No. Justice is an essential practice of where God is. If you see a revival, you see people speaking and doing and rejoicing, there is justice and there's righteousness. Take that out, forget about faith. You have none.
Meanwhile, the Bishop Theologian of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, the Right Reverend Professor Dabo, come fiercely against the current government of the Federation, particularly on the President Muhammadu Buhari, saying he has run down the nation economically. While delivering a lecture recently in Lagos, Professor Asaju said Buhari is one of the most privileged Nigerians, as he benefited a lot from the structures in Nigeria, but has destroyed the country that made him. He also blamed the majority of the Nigerian problems to the fact that the major tribe have become leaderless in their dealings.
Even in Nigeria, who are the leaders today? We are a leaderless country. We are just praying that Buhari will finish his tenure and get out of the way. I hope that God will give us a better leader. He has killed virtually everything in this country. Terribly, he has brought us down, 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 down. Nobody has been blessed like this man. At the age of 20-something, he was a governor of the old Borno state, comprising 5 states today. He was a minister of petroleum. He was a head of state. And now he killed this country. Terrible. The Lord will deliver us. Today, who are the leaders? In those days, we used to talk about Obafemi Awolowo for the Yoruba, Nnamdi Azikiwe for the Igbos, Amadu Bello for the Hausa Fulani. Who is the leader of the Yorubas today? Leaderless. Hausa, leaderless. Igbo, leaderless. We are in trouble.
Bishop Asaju used the opportunity to remind church leaders that it is their duty to call the politicians to order.
What I know in the Bible is that, O ye son of man, ye are a watchman over society. When you see evil, you warn them. If you don't warn them, the sword will be upon them and the blood will not be required of you. It was Nathan who corrected David. It was Samuel who anointed Saul and anointed David. The men of God that will speak truth to power. But our leaders are quiet because of their pocket, because of their position. This church is a church that is built upon great legacy. The people must be empowered.
The Lord Bishop of Niger Delta North Diocese, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, the Right Reverend Wisdom Ihunwo, has analyzed how God can cause a storm in one's life. Referring to the life of Jonah from the scriptures, Bishop Ihunwo said that wrong associations can bring about God's wrath upon a people or an individual, saying God sent storm to the boat boarded by Jonah, thereby punishing other occupants of the boat.
It is not all storms that come from the devil. God can also cause storm to happen. Any man who has Jonah in his boat will suffer losses. He said, but the Lord sent out a great what? On the sea. And there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship was about to break up. God sent a storm against the ship because there was a Jonah in that boat. All those things that were happening, were throwing things. Jonah was there relaxing himself. Others were suffering on his behalf. God will deal with the one carrying Jonah and leave Jonah alone, because Jonah's matter is settled already.
He thereafter pointed out that some ugly situations in one's life require wisdom and obedience to God's injunctions instead of prayers.
The only way you can deal with Jonah when he's in your boat, you don't need prayer. How do you deal with Jonah? Throw him. Because this year, 2022, if you leave Jonah in your boat, the same thing you suffered last year, you will suffer this year. God forbid. And there are some persons who are backsliders. You have gone back to the world, and that is why you are suffering storm. When a man has left the presence of God and is not dining with the devil, what will happen to you? The devil will afflict you.
Now, regarding the level of insecurity in Nigeria, an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Kaduna, Reverend Thompson Barnabas, has reacted to the President's directive at the launch of the national policy on 5G for Nigeria's digital economy. Recall that President Muhammadu Buhari just launched the national policy on 5G for Nigeria's digital economy, and the President during the launch in Abuja directed all security institutions to leverage the technology when deployed, saying it will enhance security in the country. Reacting, the clergyman noted that the directive is a welcome development, but then what is important, according to him, is the action, as there have been loss of lives and properties, kidnappings amongst other insecurity issues, even with the mercenaries on ground before now.
With the directive that the President have given PMB, using to 5G to fight insecurity, I think it's a welcome development. But just to talk about using something to fight, how much have they fight the insecurity with all of the machineries that have been put on ground before now? And it's not just about talking, it's about action. People are tired of talking. They want action. And so it's action we need. And so it's not just saying giving directive. How much of the directive has it given that have produced result? And a lot of people have been kidnapped, people have been killed, and it is so terrible and so sympathetic.
And still on insecurity now, an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Kaduna, Anglican Communion, the Venerable Dr. Peter Otanda, has opined that the government must learn to properly scrutinize schools, especially private schools, before its establishment, to ascertain the credibility of the school staffers. He gave this opinion while reacting to the brutal murder of a 5-year-old school pupil, Hanifa Abubakar, by her teacher, Abdul Malik Tanko.
In the case of this little girl, the government should also scrutinize the schools and make the school proprietors to be sure of their staff. They should be sure of their staff and the caliber of persons that work in their schools. So when the government makes sure that these schools are properly established, the schools are properly supervised, and the staff in the schools, they are caliber of people that are to be reckoned with in the society, our schools will be saved, the pupils will be saved, the students will be saved, and I believe that the society at large will also be saved.
Viewers, you've been watching the news on the hour, and still to come. Senate President Ahmed Lawan has asked Nigeria's paramilitary agencies to checkmate fuel smuggling out of Nigeria. These and other stories coming your way after this break. Please stay tuned.
Hello, fans out there. My name is Johnson Onoha. I'm the Bishop of the Diocese of Arochukwu and Hafia. I want to thank God for Acnn. They are doing a very wonderful work in the area of mission, in the area of preaching, in the area of encouraging, in the area of education. They are doing a very wonderful work. And I want to encourage you viewers out there to stick to Acnn, and God will bless you.
The word of God is God's instrument for deliverance. The Bible said in Psalm chapter 107 verse 20 that he sent forth his word and he led them from every destruction. All men that were of great generational impact were men who encountered God via the word. In this age of shallow Christianity, where many are no longer committed to discipleship, we need the word of God in order not to be tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. For true Christian growth and maturity, there is no substitute for the word. Little wonder St. Paul wrote to the church in Colossians and said, let the word of God dwell richly amongst you. The word of God is God. Bible said in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Join me and other men of God on this station weekly as we learn at the feet of Jesus. Wednesdays 2 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m., and Sundays 6:15 a.m. God bless you.
You're welcome back, and thanks for being there. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or our social media platforms on facebook.com or youtube.com/acnntv. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the Avo TV app from Google Play Store. And you can also advertise your goods and services on Acnn TV. Moving on now, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan has tasked the paramilitary agencies to stem the tide of fuel smuggling out of Nigeria, saying that the trend was an economic sabotage against the nation. He spoke at a meeting with heads of paramilitary agencies in Abuja at the backdrop of development that the federal government would not move fuel subsidy anytime soon, as was disclosed by the Minister of Finance, Hajia Zainab Ahmed, during a meeting with the Senate leadership. Ahmed Lawan said it's important that the current administration should look for a way forward in the management and administration of fuel subsidies in Nigeria, adding that they were aware of the smuggling of petroleum products, which the government was still paying for the subsidy, urging security operatives to stop the smugglers at all costs. According to him, he conveyed the meeting to look for ways to checkmate the smuggling of petroleum products outside Nigeria borders in order to equally reduce the cost of fuel subsidy, insisting that the government cannot continue to pay subsidy for products not consumed locally. Ahead of 2023 elections, now Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has warned Nigerians against electing people who are above 70 years of age as president in 2023. He said that instead of electing people who are old enough to be grandpas, Nigerians should elect a young person as president in 2023. Makinde made this disclosure in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where he spoke during the 65th birthday anniversary and Thanksgiving service of Reverend Samson Ayokunle, president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Acnn, and launching of a ministry. Recall that former governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and former vice president of Nigeria, Abubakar Atiku, have indicated interest to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. Tinubu had told Buhari that he will contest on the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Atiku, on the other hand, had said that he would contest on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. But Makinde, who is a chieftain of the PDP, has charged Nigerians to choose wisely in 2023. He advised them to elect people that have the energy to serve the country. Now, President Lazarus Chakwera has disclosed his entire cabinet has dissolved his entire cabinet. The moves comes as 3 of his new former ministries face charges. In a televised address, Malawian President Chakwera announced all the functions of the cabinet reverted to him until a new one is appointed. As he sacked his government, the president vowed to confront all forms of lawless conduct by public officials. The moves comes after 3 of his ministers face charges. The former Minister of Lands, Keze Sukwa, was arrested in a bribery case. The Labour Minister, Ken Kandodo, had been accused of diverting COVID funds, and the Energy Minister of meddling with fuel deals. All have denied the allegations. Since he was elected in June 2020, Chakwera's presidential tenure has been tainted by corruption accusations. Last August, he sacked the country's energy minister, who was arrested on corruption charges, and just recently the Conference of Catholic Bishops and the Public Affairs Committee called for the president to relentlessly fight corruption. President Chakwera indicated a new cabinet will be announced within the next days. Now, U.S. President Joe Biden says he would consider personal sanctions on Vladimir Putin if Russia invades Ukraine, as he added that there would be enormous consequences for the world if Russia made a move on the nation, which sits on the southwestern border. His comments come as other Western leaders repeated warnings that Russia would pay a heavy price for invasion, saying Russia has accused the U.S. and others of escalating tensions over the issue and denies planning to enter Ukraine. However, Moscow has deployed an estimated 100,000 soldiers near the border as it sees the Western military alliance NATO as a security threat, demanding legal guarantees that it will not add new members further, including neighboring Ukraine. But U.S. has said that the issue at stake is Russian aggression, not NATO expansion, as fear of invasion have prompted Western embassies in Kyiv to withdraw some personnel. You've been watching the news on the hour. Let's give you a recap of our major stories. Archbishop Benjamin Kwashi speaks on nation building, says justice is important. Bishop Theologian Asajo attacks Buhari's government, says things has gone worse under his watch, and urges church leaders to speak out without fear. Plus, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, warns Nigerians against voting people above 70 as president. So that's it for the news. And I want to thank you profusely for watching. I am Nzubechi Frank. Bye-bye.
You're welcome to the Youth Arena Show. My name is Sanctified Akko.
That inner transformation that Jesus brought into your life must be worked out for another person to see on the outside.
When they see the light,
Come to the light.